Hi, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, good afternoon. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm waiting for others to join so that we could proceed. Hi. Hi, JC Collections. Thanks for joining. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hi, thanks for joining. That's Boyant_body. Yeah, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining Sami. Thanks for joining Lami. That's Biola. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nelson, and I'm the visa officer for Nexi. So I'll basically be talking about student visa this afternoon. I want to say a big thank you to all our Instagram followers and those who have actually been joining us on our Instagram Live. I want to say a big thank you to everybody and thanks for tuning in. So we'll probably be having conversations today. So if you have questions, you can actually drop in your questions. And I know I won't do a lot of talking today, but I want to answer questions. So you have questions about visas, you could probably just send in your questions and I'll be glad to answer those questions. But I'll probably be addressing some issues, or I'll be addressing some important issues today about student visa applications and what students need to know regarding student visa application, which is very, very important. So if you're considering studying in the UK, the steps you need to take and the steps you need to know before kickstarting your process, which is very, very, very important. Okay, I can see that some people are joining. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming in. I want to say thank you for always tuning in to our Instagram Live, and thanks for being part of us. And we say a big thank you to you. Okay, today I was told to talk about the student visa. I actually handle the student visa applications for Nexi, and my name is Nelson Eban. So I'm talking about the steps and how important it is when you're considering a student application. The first is you have to have at least gotten your offer. When I mean gotten an offer, you must have gotten an unconditional offer first before you can actually consider studying in the UK. Now, there are procedures in getting your unconditional offer. The first process is you have to get in your transcript, you have to get your degree certificate, you have to get your data page of your international passport, and then you also need to write a very good personal statement. Most schools take this personal statement very, very important. As much as we tell students that your personal statement determines if you would be granted the admission or not, schools like Birmingham City University takes personal statements very, very important. So you have to tell them why you chose the university, why you chose the course, why you chose the UK, and what differentiates that particular school from another school. This is very, very key when you're looking at studying in the UK or studying abroad generally. Now, when all these documents are complete, what you need to do is send in your application, send in the documentations, and then one of our counsellors or admission team will actually process your application. And then when the application is out, the next is your unconditional offer comes out. Then what happens after your unconditional offer comes out? Which means that you have to take your unconditional offer, you have to take some banks, you have to take your unconditional offer, you have to take your degree certificate, you have to take the data page of your passport to the bank to say you want to do a transfer to the school's account. So what we do is some schools bank details comes with the offer letter. So when you check your offer letter, you notice that the school bank details is actually on the offer. So you take the offer and your degree certificate to the bank to actually do a transfer to the school. So then when you get to the bank, you actually request for the Form A. So the bank will actually give you a form which is called Form A for your payment, and then you fill in the form and then request that they transfer the funds to the school. So different banks with different rates. So the bank tells you which rate is available, what's the rate on that particular day you're transferring the fund. Please take note, it's important that you ask the bank how long it will take, because some banks are a bit slow when it comes to transferring funds. I know some of the reviews I got from students is that Wema Bank is faster, Stanbic Bank is also fast, and I think UBA Bank as well too. So you can actually find out from all of these banks I have mentioned, and if you have any other banks too, you can also drop us. We'll be glad to actually hear if you have banks that you know that obviously process bank statement, process tuition deposits as quick as possible. Now, when you've actually paid your fees, there's what we call the telex copy. The telex copy is what the school sent, the bank would send to you, and then you forward the telex copy to us, or forward the copy of the telex copy to the school. Now, when the school confirms your payment, now it takes a while. Some schools takes a while. Some takes 10 working days. Some takes 5 working days to confirm payments that students have sent from Nigeria. So it's important that the moment you have made your initial deposit to the school, follow up with the bank to ensure that you get your telex copy. Now, some banks would not take it as the reason why I said follow up with the bank is because they have a lot of transactions. They have a lot of students who are making payments for fees. So you need to ensure that you're on their case. You need to follow up with them to ensure that they help push out your payment, and then you get your telex on time, which is very, very, very important. Now, the telex comes out, you're expected to send a copy of your telex to the school and to us as well, so that we can actually chase up and ensure that the school receives the payment on time and then issue you the CAS, which is the CAS. Now, before the school issues you the CAS, we have some schools that do not require you to submit your bank statement. Now, I'll probably be addressing those who are going in January, because January is actually the next intake. So if you have an application or you're considering the January start, I'll probably just advise you to start your proof of funds now, which is very, very important. Now, why we are saying you should start your proof of funds is because the proof of funds has to be there for 30 days. Minimum, let's say 28 days, but we advise it has to be there 28, 29 days. So we advise that you start your proof of funds now, because some of the schools have started issuing cards. Some started issuing cards 6 months before the course start date, while some will start issuing cards 2 months or 3 months before the course start date. So it's important that you start your proof of funds. So as soon as your offer comes out, the next thing you do is make your tuition deposit, and then you don't have to be waiting for the 30 days any longer or 28 days any longer to submit your bank statement. So there are some schools that probably would say you need to submit your bank statement for them to issue you CAS. Now, if you start your proof of funds now, it means that before 30 days your offer will be out. And if you have the fast track process of paying your fees, there are some people that would say that, oh, I have somebody in the UK who is going to pay the fees for me. I don't want to go through this. That's the bank, Nigerian bank, because of the delay. So there are students in the UK that can actually help you pay your fees. And the truth is, if you're paying your fees from the UK, it gets into the school's account immediately, or latest before the end of the day. You get your the school receives your deposit, and this is faster. Now, we have some schools that also would run an interview process. So that's why it's important that if you're considering the January 2022, I rather advise that you start as quick as possible. Now, after your telex, you're required to submit your bank statement to the school. Now, when you submit your bank statement to the school, some school takes five working days to issue CAS, some takes 10 working days to issue CAS, and while some schools takes 15 days to issue CAS. So it's important that you get this bank statement and send it to the school on time. Some schools will actually want to verify the bank statement you have submitted. So that's why you have to leave the money in your account for more than 28 days. Now, so when you send in your bank statement, the school processes your CAS. Then when you receive your CAS, it's important that you proceed with your visa application. Now, before you proceed with your visa application, because of the timing and because of the way the whole situation is and the volume of applications most of this school receives and the volume of applications most of these schools and the organization receive. So it's important that you start ASAP. And now what we advise is, for students who are considering the January start, we would say that if you have not booked for your TB, it's important that you go for your TB now. Now, it's difficult to actually book online. You might go online and not find it easy to book. You might go online and probably see a date for November 10 or anything November that's 10 and above. So what we advise students to do is either go to their office to book manually, but if you're finding it difficult to go to their office, you can actually send them an email. You can actually send an email to IOM and then you request. The subject will be urgent TB test. So you just put urgent TB test request and then you put the country that you're going to, you're probably using it for. You could probably say the UK, put your passport number and actually request for an urgent TB test. So a lot of students have actually done that, and the truth is they've actually gotten a date. The students actually contacted me this morning saying that he got a date for October 20. And if you go on their page, you'll notice that what you see on their page is November and above. So it's important that you actually apply for your TB or book your TB test as quick as possible. Some schools will actually request that you submit your TB test before they can issue you card. So if you don't have your TB test and your bank statement is ready, it means that you have to that might pose as a delay or as a challenge for you. So it's important that you apply for your TB test. Okay, now, so after you've gotten your TB test, you've gotten your bank statement, the next thing is actually to make your visa application. Now, it's important that you also make your visa application as quick as possible, because getting a date is also something to worry about. And a lot of people will say, oh, there's a working process. Yes, the truth is there's working, but working is not as easy as people think, because I know a lot of students who have gone through a lot just to go in for working. Working is not as easy as people think any longer. So the earlier the better you start your process, it's important for you. So now, when you've gotten your CAS, you've applied, you've gotten your bank statement, you make your visa application. It takes about a week or two, depending on which of the locations you want to pick, which of the locations you're picking to submit your visa application. So now when you've made your visa application, there are certain things you need to take note, which is the visa fee, which is the IHS fee, which is, some people obviously want to pay for priority now, because even priority doesn't come out the exact 5 to 7 working days. So they have the 5 to 7 working days priority process. They also have that's the 24 hours, so which means that 24 to 48 hours your visa will be out, but that's more expensive. So you can actually opt out for that's the 5 to 7 working days, which is about £220. Now, what you're paying after you've gotten your CAS, you've gotten your bank statement is ready, what you're paying for visa fee at the moment, as of yesterday when we paid for visa fee, was $495. So $495 was the visa fee as at yesterday, and the IHS was about 900 and something. But it's not stable. So you can actually get $1,003 and then maybe $998. So it's important that you also take note of, because a lot of students have issues with, oh, I don't know I was going to pay for visa fee, I don't know I was going to pay for IHS, I'm only aware that I'll pay for visa fee. So you should take note that you'll be paying for visa fee, you'll also be paying for IHS fee. Very important. This payment has to be done. Then the priority service is optional. For some students, probably some students will say they want to wait for 15 working days before. The standard time for processing application is 15 working days. But because of the fact that there's a rush and there's a lot of applications, so people don't want to wait for 15 working days because it most times stays longer than 15 working days. So students opt for the option of doing the priority service, which is 5 to 7 working days. Then if you have a lot of money, let me say you have some spare cash, you can now decide to say you don't want to wait for 5 to 7 working days, you probably want to get your visa out in 24 to 48 hours, then you're paying that for super priority. That's about 950, that's 956 pounds additional to what you'll be paying. So if you're paying for priority, it's an additional too, means that you're paying an additional 220 pounds. Now, so I would probably wait for people to send in their questions so I could actually answer those questions. So if you are single, you're married, or you're married, you have a child, you're married, you want to travel with your spouse, yes, you can actually travel with them. All you need to do is just show that you have enough money for your dependents. We usually advise that dependents show a minimum of 6,500 in addition to what the student is going to be providing, which is very important. We say 6,500 because, give or take, if the rate goes higher than this, then you can actually have enough money in your account. Very, very important. Now, it's important to take note that you do not, the embassy does not take a fixed deposit account. So if you are considering using a fixed deposit account, it means that you would not be able to apply for visa, because we have some students who were not aware or were not informed or do not know that the embassy does not take a fixed deposit account. So like I advise students to always do, ask your agent or discuss with your counselors and ask them on a regular basis, keep in touch with them to find out what is required for your visa application. Now, also, if you are also considering using a brother or a sister's bank statement, it's also not acceptable, or it's also not accepted for the UK visa application. So if you're considering the student visa, you want to use your brother, you want to use your sister, you want to use your uncle, it's better to advise them to put the money in your account for 28 days before you can apply for visa. So the embassy do not accept, or they do not take an uncle as a sponsor, they do not take an auntie, they do not take an in-law. So the money has to be in your account or has to be in your parent's account. And if the funds are in your parent's account, you have to provide a sponsorship letter from your parents and a birth certificate, your birth certificate showing that they are your legal guardian. This is very important. Somebody just asked me a question, does US require a TB as well, or just UK? Okay, it's the UK that just requires a TB test. So if you're considering studying in the UK or living in the UK for more than 6 months, you're required to run the TB test, which is very, very important. And TB expires after 6 months, so it's valid for 6 months. So it's important that, and the TB comes with the name of the school that you are applying to. So for those who have applied or who have done TB before and probably wants to change his school. So for example, a student asked me this morning, oh, I've done TB and I wrote a particular university, but I'm no longer interested in that university, and I've gotten admission in another university. Can I still use that TB? So all you need to do is you can actually go to IOM and they request that your TB test is updated. So if your TB test is updated, all you need to do is you pay a token, I think 7,000 or 8,000 thereabouts. That's what you need to pay, and then they will update it. So they change the name of the school on your TB. Yes, you can actually travel with your spouse. Yes, your spouse also needs to also do the TB. Very important. So if you have one dependent, your dependent has to do. If you have two dependents, all dependent has to also do run the TB test, which is very important as well. But they are only so you can, if you're probably applying for your TB, you can also include your dependents. You see on it where they ask how many dependents. So all you need to do is just put the number of applicants that will be attending or that will probably be going for your TB test. It's important, I want to go back again to reiterate it, that it's important to book your TB test now if you're considering whether you have gotten offer or you have not gotten an offer. As far as you have started the process for the January 2022, I would advise you to go in or apply for your TB test. Now, you don't get one of the things I tell students is, it's not like you're going to run your, or probably going to do your TB test now. You're just booking ahead. So before your TB test date, I'm sure that your offer will probably be out by then. So somebody's asking, okay, I mean spouse being a sponsor. Most times we advise that students have the funds in their account. I've seen where students used a joint account with spouse. So if you're using a joint account with spouse, where your name and the spouse name appears, then yes, that's fine. So all you need to do is get a letter of consent from the spouse saying that the both of you have agreed that you should use the funds that are in that account. So your spouse will also sign, and then you attach that letter to it. Yes, the embassy will accept it. If it's a joint account that has your name and your spouse name on it, yes, it's acceptable. So I hope I have been able to answer that question. So so it's very important that we take note of all of these things, which is very, very key. Your bank statement is very important. I would advise again that we should start running our accounts if you're considering January 2022, which is very important. Now, after you have gotten your visa, this is another good news that Nigerians will probably want to tap into. Now, I think last week on the 4th or thereabouts, the UK actually published that they actually relaxed the UK COVID-19 rules for travelers coming from, if you're not from the red list. So Nigeria, which happens to not be from it. So what we do is, if you're from Nigeria and you've actually taken your COVID, that you've taken the COVID 1 and 2, this is a good news for you. This means that you no longer need to do the isolation for 10 days or pay for the day 8, day 2 and day 8. So what you're paying for is just the day 2 kits. And this means that you will not be doing the self-isolation for 10 days any longer. But if you have not done your COVID, if you've not done your vaccine, or you've not taken your vaccine, it means that you will have to do the day 2 and the day 8 kits, and you have to do self-isolation for 10 days. Now, there are sites that some students would say, based on our reviews and based on the conversations I've had with students who traveled, they actually advised that one of the cheapest health services in the UK where you can actually apply or register for your COVID kit is Dante Lab. Dante Lab has a discounted rate, but currently Dante Lab has the day 2 and the day 8 kits for £68. Sorry, before I proceed, somebody's asking, is it too late to start the application? No, it's not too late to start the application if you have gathered all your documents, if you have your transcript, you have your degree certificate, you have your data page of your international passport, and some schools ask for academic reference or professional reference. So if you have this, you can still actually submit in your application. Application takes some takes 2 weeks, some takes 2 to 3 weeks, so which means that you're still on point. You can still make an application for January 2022. So back to my last conversation about the COVID, that's the vaccine. So I'm saying that if you have done the vaccine, you've taken the vaccine, the 1 and 2, this means that you no longer need to do self-isolation for 10 days. All you need to do is just pay for the COVID, that's the day 2 kit, which is about, depending on which of the health services you want to use, which is about £39. And for Dante Lab, then tphealthservices.com is about £29. So that's the discounted rate. So you can also get the discounted rate when you go on their page. All you need to do is just click on, when you go to their page, just click on the discounted rate. You see the discounted rate and you'll be able to book for it. Okay, somebody's asking, can students get school fees loan in the UK? Well, it depends on, I can't really tell if students can get a student fees loan. I know what you can get is probably get like a tuition discount from the UK school. I made this ask, okay. So, sorry, let me just see that. So you can actually inbox us more. I will give you more information. We'll just probably talk about the school fees loan. You can actually inbox us and one of our team will actually respond or give you more information about the student fee loan. So now you're expected to just take, after you have done you've gotten your visa, all you need to do is it's important that you actually book for your COVID. The COVID you do in Nigeria, that's 72 hours to your travel. You can actually go to Afri Global. There are other approved centers where you can do your COVID, and I think it's about 50,400, and that has to be done after you have gotten your visa. But this is done 72 hours before your departure. So COVID test is very important for all travelers who have gotten their visas, who will be leaving Nigeria to study or travel to the UK. Now, if you've done your COVID test, you're required to book for your date. You're required to book for your COVID kit, which is for those who are non-vaccinated and those who are fully vaccinated. So fully vaccinated, you're only paying for your day 2 kit, and then for those who are fully vaccinated, you're paying for your day 2 and day 8 kit. Now, after you've done this, you need to actually fill in the UK, that's the locator form. The locator form is for those who have actually gotten their tickets, they are ready to travel, but that form has to be completed 48 hours to your departure, 48 hours to your arrival. So you're going to be arriving in the UK 48 hours, so that form has to be completed 48 hours to your arrival. Please kindly answer me, please. That's what's your name? Ade, please. Okay, is there a question you've asked me that you want me to answer? So if you have not started your process for January 2022, there's still time for you to put in your application, and I'm sure that you will get. Now, some of our schools have what we call the fast track process. So even if you have all your complete documents, you can actually get your offer out within 2 weeks through the fast track process. So you can actually contact us, inbox us. One of our team will actually one of our team will actually contact you regarding your application, and I'm sure that within 2 weeks of your application you will get an offer, because there's a fast track process. So you can still meet the January 2022, which is still very much available for this. So if you're okay, thank you for joining. I'm seeing some people who are joining. If you have questions, you can actually ask your questions. Yes, you can travel with your spouse. You're a single mother, you are a single parent, you can actually travel with your children without your spouse. Then if you're married, if you're divorced, you can also travel with your spouse. There are special arrangements for that, for those who have for single parents and those who have kids, or who probably want to travel with them, or their parents are not available at the moment, and all, which is very, very important. Yeah, I'm still waiting for your questions. So if you have questions, you can actually throw in your questions, and I'll be willing to answer those questions. Would you recommend HND holder to go for a top-up to BSc or a pre-master's degree? Now, for HND, depending on what you have studied, there are some HNDs, there are some schools that actually take HND directly into a master's degree, which means that if you've had like 3 to 5 years work experience, and you can actually, some universities will actually take you directly into a master's degree. We have schools like Edinburgh Napier. They would actually, but most of these schools would take you into a master's program directly when you're probably considering a business related course for January. But most schools don't really have a lot of courses offered in January. So it's always one intake in a year, which is September. So there are 2 intakes. Some offers, the January is actually one of the intakes. You don't really have a lot of courses offered. So but September, you have all courses offered in September. So if you're considering a business course and you have a minimum of 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 years work experience, some schools will actually take you directly into your master's. Yes, you can actually, with an HND, you can actually do a top-up. If some people will say, oh, I want to do a top-up, some people say, I want to do a direct master, some people will say, I want to, but if you have an HND and you're considering going, you have an HND and you're considering doing a top-up or a pre-master's, you will not be allowed to go with your dependent. So if you have a dependent and you're an HND holder, it's best to actually go for a direct master's so that you'll be able to go with your dependent. So if you're doing a BSc or a top-up, you will not be allowed to go with your dependent. Can an HND get admission? Yes, an HND can actually get admission. All you need to do is, if you have your ND certificate and ND transcript. You have your HND and ND certificate, HND transcript and HND certificate with your CV and a very good personal statement. Yes, you can apply for admission for January 2022. Okay. Okay, that's fine. I'm looking at this thing. So sorry, I'm waiting for. Okay, that's fine. I hope I've been able to answer that HND question. So if you're an HND holder and you have your HND transcript, you have your OND transcript and your certificate, yes, you can actually put in your application. You can actually send in your applications and you'll be able to get an offer. Now we have some schools that have, some UK universities actually offer some discount, which is okay. That does top up or BSc guarantee. Does top up or BSc guarantee. So if you're doing any course below, a master's program, either you're doing a top up or you're doing a BSc, you're entitled to a 1-year post-study work visa. If you're doing a master's program, if you're studying at a master's degree, that's NQF level 7, you're entitled to 2 years post-study work visa. So that's how it was. 1 year for those who are doing anything top up or undergraduates. Then if you're doing a master's program, it means that you're entitled to the 2 years post-study work visa. Yeah, all right. So I'm waiting in. So you can actually send in your questions. If you probably don't want to put in your questions on online for us to attend to, you can actually inbox us your questions, and I'll be willing to probably respond to those questions and probably ask you. Well, okay. Somebody's asking, when it comes to proof of funds, can I use my father-in-law's accounts? No, you can't use your father-in-law's accounts. So you can only use your biological father or your father's-in-law transfers the money into your account. So it's only your parents that are eligible to sponsor. They can actually sponsor you, or the money is in your account. So any other sponsorship coming outside your parents will have to be in your account. So the embassy just requires you to submit a minimum of 28 days bank statement. So they don't care about how long that money has been in the account. So if they know fully well that they don't accept the UK, so that's why they don't have a problem with you having the money or students having the money in their account for minimum of 28 days. All they need to see is ensure that the money is in your account for a minimum of 28 days. They don't care. They don't want you to submit 2 or 3 month bank statement. Just show them that you've had that fund. That fund has been held in your account for a minimum of 28 days. Okay, somebody's asking, please, there was a mistake on my date of birth for the TB. Can I change it? Yes, you can actually go to IOM office to request them to update your TB, and they will actually update your TB. So all you need to do is you'll probably just pay a token for them to update or make that correction. Somebody's asking, okay, how do I apply for my TB test? Okay, there's a website you have to go to. That's the IOM Medicals. When you go to IOM Medicals, you'll be able to book for your TB test. But most times it's difficult to get a date, or you might not get a closer date for your TB. So we advise students to either send them a mail, and the subject of the mail should be request for an urgent UK TB test. Then the body of the message. So we have a template of what to send to them. So you can actually inbox us, and then we'll send you the templates to send to them to request for an urgent TB test, so that you can actually get an early date compared to what is on their page. It's nothing available for third class. It depends on what you want to do. Basically, if you're looking at starting all over again, like you want to do a BSc, yes, some schools will actually consider you for a BSc program with a nursing degree. So you have a third class, and you probably want to start your nursing from maybe 3 years nursing. Yes, some schools will actually take you into the nursing program after you're done with your first degree. Okay, do you do family visa? Okay, I want to okay, you're asking if we do family visa. Yes, we do family visa applications. If you're looking at traveling with your family, yes, we can actually help family to apply for their visas. So either on the dependent visa or on the tourist part, so we can actually help to apply for the visa. Yeah, thank you for your questions. I'm still willing to answer those questions if you have them. So you can actually put those questions in, and I think I'm enjoying the questions that are coming in. So okay, somebody's asking. I mean MSc. Now for third class for MSc, the requirement is usually, now it depends on what you have studied for first degree. Basically, for if you're considering the MSc program. Now we are fully aware that the nursing doesn't have a grading system, so it's not like, oh, you have the first class, second class for medicine or nursing. So if you have done a course that is not in nursing and you're considering doing maybe an adult nursing or switching, then it depends on the school. Some schools would want to look at the fact that if you have enough work experience, they will probably want to consider you, and if you can pass the interview, because obviously without a nursing background and you have it, for example, you have it just like you have a third class in another field and you want to do a nursing degree, maybe applying for an MSc nursing, it depends on the school and it depends on your experience. So your experience will determine if the school would consider you for that particular program. Definitely you'll probably go through the interview process. So if you're able to convince the course tutor, then fine. Please, I'm sorry that you said you're not responding to my question. Please, can you please post your question again? Please, does University of Bradford do interview before the issue CAS? Yes, Bradford does interview before the issue CAS. Thank you so much. I am in the UK already, isolating already. Mr. Toyin is so efficient. And, oh, thank you for that message. Thank you for, that's Olajide. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Thanks. Okay, no audio again. Sorry, I'm trying to see. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay. Get that out. So can you hear me now? I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can somebody just type if you can hear me? Okay, fine. Okay, yes. Thank you. So thank you. Okay. Yes, for over 1 minute, no audio now, no audio. Okay, so sorry about that. I don't know why the audio actually went off. I don't know why, but that's fine. So if you have questions, personal questions, or probably you've been denied visa before, you've been denied visa for the UK, and you want us to apply for you, some people ask questions like, oh, I've been denied UK 4 times, I've been denied UK 3 times and all. Yes, you can apply for visa as far as you were not denied on the basis of fraudulent documents or the basis of fraudulent documents. Yes, you can apply. The number of times you've been denied a UK visa does not affect your application, basically. So it has nothing to do with your application as far as you are not denied on the basis of fraudulent documents. So you can apply. We have students who have been denied 4 times, 3 times, and they still got their visas. Yes, can I start my May admission? Yes, you can start your May admission. Some schools will be offering or will be giving offers for May intake. So after January, we have the May section, but not all schools offers or have courses running in May. So if you're looking at business related course or any of the management courses, yes, you can actually consider May section. But engineering, IT, some of the IT courses are not offered in May intake. But management, business related, yes, you can actually start your program for May 2022. All right, so I think I'll still be waiting for questions, but if there are no questions, I'll probably just say that I want to appreciate everyone who has actually tuned in, who have asked questions. I don't know if I've been able to answer some of your questions, or if I've been able to touch or give you or enlighten you guys a bit about the visa process. But I am always available to respond to you if you have any questions regarding your visa application, or you want to know how much it is to fund your account, or how to go about proof of funds, or probably what you're required to have in your account. This is very important that you take note of all of these before you proceed or during your visa application, so that you will have a very stress-free application process. Yes, we are here to support you. We're here to make this journey a stress-free journey for you, and we do not charge. So our services are free, so you can actually reach out to us, ask us any question, contact us at any time to say, oh, I want you guys to handle my visa application, I want you guys to handle my application. Yes, it's totally free for students, and we'll be willing to do this wholeheartedly, and trust me, it's an experience you'll be grateful for and using us. Thank you so much. I want to say thank you for joining, and hope to see you guys next week. Thank you so much, and have a nice day. Bye. Thanks.